Welcome to the Bite Me podcast, where we're starting over because Adam's a pig.
Bite me!
Anyway.
He actually has a pig on his shirt.
I do. I have a flying pig.
It's actually
That's real
himself.
Cool.
It gets
with
small.
wings.
I will kill you dead. The shirt's
you're
getting
burpy.
smaller and smaller. I don't know what's happening.
Do pigs burp?
That's what I say about my clothes, too.
My clothes are shrinking.
pants,
It's odd.
Well, they do when you wash and dry them.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Oh,
that
I've
is-
not.
the heat.
I purposefully
shrink.
have not washed this shirt, so it stays the same
That explains
size.
the smell.
Oh. I like to shrink my clothes, and then I stretch it back out.
I hate him so much.
Nah, it's okay.
Anyway.
Welcome to the Bite Me episode.
Bite Me.
podcast episode 33.
Yes, I think because I guarantee this is going to come up at least 50 times during this episode. Today is not anywhere close to the day where we recorded this. You're listening to this almost a week after we recorded it.
Yeah.
Because vacations. the
We're
4th of July.
not anywhere around.
Yeah, most of us aren't, none of us are in the same state right now.
I won't even be in the same country.
Yes, we're very far apart, but we didn't want you to miss out. So a lot of questions today because news would be silly.
Because news is dumb.
We released another podcast yesterday, so...
But except we do have one little bit of news that did
bit
pop
of
up,
news.
which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
Which is actually kind of
It's
cool.
actually good news, I would
Yes.
say. Yeah.
And we're
News!
also going to talk about questions, all kinds of questions from people.
Lots of people.
Lots of people.
We like people.
Q&A session.
There's some cheap free games, too.
Yeah,
because
'cause,
that time of year.
Yeah, and the PlayStation Plus games dropped. So we'll be able to talk about that. Yay! My name is Adam West.
Cliff Johnson.
Adam East,
Damn it.
also known as Dylan.
Mark that.
A.K.A.
You're going to have to give it up at some point. You have to.
I don't think he is.
You
listeners
are
love it.
diluting my brand,
Can you
sir.
sue for that?
I cannot.
Is it because you're diluting someone else's brand?
No.
Are you lying?
I'm maybe. It's whatever. Are any of us playing anything that we need to discuss?
I can't stop playing The Witcher.
Now that you're in God mode.
Oh, it's great. It's so awesome. I love it. I actually played a quest yesterday, and I just kind of ran across it. Like, this is the level 24 quest. I'm like, I'm only level 11, but I think I can take this.
I think I'm level 5.
Yeah, I love
Ballsy,
that
I like
game
it.
so much. I cannot stop playing. I keep thinking I've got all these other games that I really, 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 really want to play. Maybe I should just play some more of The Witcher. That'd be cool. It's awful. And I mean, in an awesome way, but I'm only maybe 15 hours into it. And I'm like, I just want to play this game forever. And then I'm like, that's good because I've probably got another 125 hours of it left. So
So do you think even in God mode it would take you 150 hours to complete that stuff?
I mean, the thing is, I guess the thing when you think about a game like Skyrim, it took me 120 hours. I died maybe 3 times that entire game.
Really?
As long as you do your leveling smart,
Yeah.
you're not going to be
Not me.
real challenged by.
Don't go chasing the
things.
Bigfoot
Or
Just
waterfalls.
What are those the big nasties called?
Oh yeah, like the ogres.
No,
The
the fast
trolls,
one.
the
Yeah.
They just come out
In
of nowhere
Skyrim,
and
yeah.
just
But
kick
Bowser.
your can.
Bowser.
Bowser.
Yes.
Okay.
But effectively,
what are the big
I don't
sick
remember. It's
nasties?
been a while.
Look it up on your little electronic device.
Yeah, my
matches this
iPad
car.
died.
Oh, it does, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
kind of.
God.
But yeah, no, I just cannot stop playing The Witcher, and I don't need to really. I mean, I guess that's not the right word, but there's a ton of other games that I'm literally in the middle of 6 games right now, and I need to Fisher cut bait on all of them. So, but I'm loving The Witcher. It's delightful.
Good. I'm still stuck in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I played a little bit of it last night, and I'm like, I'm going to log in and play a round or 2 or 4.
Or 80.
And and every time I would die, I consistently top 30,
That's
which is
awesome.
cool, except for once or twice where 5 of us all landed in the same place.
That's never good.
No. But I remember getting really ticked, and I was chatting with my brother at the same time. I was like, damn it, I died again. This guy ran me over with a motorcycle.
Do you guys ever play together?
No. My brother's not a PC gamer. He has his Wii U. He's a Nintendo fanboy, and he's always a generation behind.
Oh,
Just
you
'cause
were
he
talking
likes...
to him that you died.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said he said to you.
I messaged him. I was like, I died. And I closed the game out, chatted with him for a few more minutes. I'm like, I'm going to go back in. And I played again.
That's awesome.
So.
I need to play some more of that.
It's good.
Good.
Dylan, are you playing anything other than ARMS?
I plugged my NES Classic back in.
Nice.
It was good.
It's definitely good.
So did you play any games on it, or did you just plug it in?
I just played and looked at it.
You're like, oh, look what it can do. Nothing.
Flip through the menus.
No, I default to Mega Man every time I get on there.
Nice.
But
It's not a
fair.
bad
Mega Man
game to
2.
default to, really.
no. But for some reason it's
Hard.
yeah.
It's really,
Like if you like playing Shovel Knight now, like it's so much like
yeah,
how much different
it's
like
crazy.
just
Games have changed in the
running
last
and
30
jumping
years.
though. You'd think that like a game like as simple as that would feel better, but it doesn't.
I think the thing is when you really think about it, so much of it even just has to do with like their ability to better simulate physics and better simulate, all those things. And there's so much more. I mean, you don't think about it because usually it's all handled kind of in engine and stuff,
Yeah.
but the things that current gen games can do just in relationship to like how jumping works and how people interact with different properties and, it's very, very
Stuff, very complicated
it's very
stuff.
complicated, like just all the math and stuff that goes into it. So
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I was noticing you feel you're a lot stiffer
Yeah.
than a platformer nowadays. You're less bouncy, you're less floaty.
Well, and
those things help you really kind of navigate the platforms.
And two, I mean, just like the number of frames of animation that goes into Mega Man versus something else is probably significantly less. So, yeah, I don't know.
True.
Yeah, hopefully I'm going to get a bunch of game time in this weekend with the holiday weekend.
Ooh, I might be able to.
Yes,
Oh, that'll be fun.
Be very
Kevin's going out of town.
That's very. Aren't you going out of town too, though?
Not this weekend.
Oh, when do you leave?
Tuesday.
Excellent. Perfect.
Yes. So I've got 48 solid hours of nothing but me and dog.
That's awesome. I leave Tuesday too.
Oh,
Perfect.
I'll give Dart some Benadryl. She'll take a nap for a little while, and I'll just play some games.
I'll give my wife and kids some Benadryl, and they'll.
I mean, that's drugging your family versus, telling your dog to take a nap.
Whatever.
Okay. So up next, one quick bit of...
New. Oh.
News. One
Wow,
news. Sorry,
almost
too many
ready to
newses.
steal his
I almost
thunder.
hijacked him. I did not mean to.
So Xbox Games Pass is doing a little something kind of akin to, like, you see all those reports when Netflix updates their library each month, and you see all these reports of what's coming and going. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah. So essentially, like, if you guys don't remember Games Pass, that's the $10 a month service you can sign up to, and currently you get about 110 games in Games Pass for the Xbox, and there's like we talked about it in depth maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and there's a lot of stuff in there, but what the very first thing they announced was like, hey, there's 7 new games coming out, and they're all pretty good actually. They're adding Resident Evil 6, which some people liked, some people didn't, but then the Dead Island Definitive Collection, Guacamelee, Super Turbo Championship Edition, which you haven't played, you should, because it's great. It's kind of a Metroidvania where you play like a luchador wrestler. It's fantastic. The Flame and the Flood, which I have not played, but I hear is spectacular. And then F1 2015, which I bet is great. Bard's Gold, and then Monaco. So a really solid set of games coming. But, a lot of people, when they made that announcement, were like, so, we hear you're going to be taking things off. It's like Netflix. They add new stuff and they take stuff away as stuff gets added and so on and so forth. And Microsoft announced that, stuff is going to go away, but we're going to give everyone at least a month's heads up before that happens. So it's not going to be like, it's not going to be, how many times have you done that on Netflix, been like watching a show and go back to watch it the next day, it's just gone. We were like 7 seasons into that 70s show. We logged in the next day,
and it's all gone.
But what happens to Eric?
Nothing
and so
good.
You're going to get that heads up. So, hang out with us, hang out on Twitter, those kind of places, and I'm sure you'll be able to find out. But we'll make sure to kind of announce what's leaving too, and what's coming in. But it looks like, too, kind of based on what they're saying, that first of all, there's nothing going to leave for at least another month. So you're safe with what you've got now. And it looks like things are probably going to be staying like a minimum of 5 months. So.
Was that a minimum of 5 months?
Yeah, that's what it's
Oh,
sounding.
that's pretty.
Yeah, it's hard to say, if something's going to leave, but you also do get discounts on these games if you decide you really like it and want to play it.
You just have to have it.
Yeah, if not, you'll have 30 days notice to power through. So it's good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I still have my subscription, so it's been good so far.
Nice. Well, that's your news for the week.
News.
And up next, we have questions. Because we don't have news.
Yeah.
Other than that, because it's the week before.
Yeah.
The week.
I'm sure something's going to happen. Like, that
something big is going to happen.
Something big, and we're going to go,
Well, this is why we don't have a million listeners, but
talk,
okay.
We can talk about our feelings afterwards, how we missed it.
Next episode, how sad we are.
The feelings episode. So our first question comes from Josh. And
Josh!
This is going to be a long episode.
Got to fill a little time.
Right. Well, these are good questions, so I think we've got a pretty full show here. Going back to the old consoles to provide your favorite game specifically for that console, and he goes to list of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Dreamcast if you had it, PS1 and 2, N64, GameCube, and Xbox. Again, if you had it, because I did not have... Well, I had an Xbox for a short time.
Good enough.
And I was like, I don't like it. I didn't. I was a PlayStation fanboy. I can't help it.
I'm a disappointed. Anyway, I think there's a lot of good stuff. What do you have a favorite NES game?
My favorite NES game, and I always have a hard time trying to remember it, but I just looked it up, found it, and I just put a link to the video of the gameplay in our Slack if you want to look
excellent.
at it. It's a game called Metal Storm, and it was by a publisher Irem. Do you remember them?
Mm-mm.
I think it was Irem. Yeah. Anyway. It was a really cool game, and I remembered playing it thinking, wow, this animation is really insane, and there's this really cool gravity mechanic that you can switch the gravity in each level, and everything in that level is affected by the gravity.
That's cool.
Unless it's anchored down. So all the enemies, you would flip gravity, they would all flip, and it was a really great platformer, and how they used that mechanic. And even some of the objects within the level are messed with on the gravity.
That's tricky.
When you trick it around.
For an NES game, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And the animation was super, super slick. And I thought it was, remember looking at it at the time going, it looks like it was hand-drawn like animation.
Yeah.
So it was really, really cool. And I remember beating it.
Wow.
Which is something I did not do a lot of when I was a kid.
NES realm,
yeah.
You know, that was hard.
That was my favorite Nintendo game.
NES games?
Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's classic.
It's just too good.
It is. And it was just, I think everyone played that.
Yeah.
That game sold, I was reading the other day, over 1 million copies on the NES. That's pretty big.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Man, my favorite NES would be tough. Just because there were so many good ones. Just based on even what I play. I mean, you've got to give a shout out to Mario. How many hours of Mario did you play? A bajillion. The game didn't even have that many levels. I was a huge Contra fan too. I loved Contra. That was the first game we got with our system. When we bought our NES, we got Contra and a cool tank game called Iron Tank, and then it came with Mario. And Contra was just great. I don't even know how many times I've beaten that game. So
I remember beating that in 2-player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me and my brother played it together.
Awesome.
Konami coded it. My brother's actually beaten it without the Konami code. I think he's actually beaten it without dying, which is pretty impressive.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I know he's done it without continuing at the very least. So, it's hard.
Nice.
SNES.
Super Nintendo, I mean, that's where it's going to get hard for me because that was my system when I was a kid. You didn't play the Super Nintendo.
Not a lot, but I would have to just go with Super Mario World or Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, Super Mario World's epic.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's probably Final Fantasy 3, 6, whatever you want to name that. But yeah, that Final Fantasy game was I played that game so many times. It was so good. Made a big impact on me. Probably really kind of what got me loving RPGs.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to think. There were so many games that I played on that system.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right? It's just hard to pick. I mean, I think the thing is I could maybe, if I really, really worked at it, I could probably get a really decent top 20 list.
Yeah.
But it'd be really hard it's really hard to narrow it down to one because I keep going, well, what about this? Oh, what about this? So
I think my favorites on the Super Nintendo were Star Fox. Because that was a good game. And there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
So many of them, which is one of the reasons why I'm excited about the Super NES Classic, because a lot of the games I love are on there.
19 of those 21 games are games that I'm super excited about, and the other ones are like Earthbound that I've just never played.
Right.
So,
what was the Contra game? Contra 3 Alien Wars? Or Super C?
Super C. I don't remember which one was on there. I played the Nintendo one.
I really like that one.
I played the Super Nintendo
Actually,
one.
my favorite game on the Super Nintendo I remember was Super Castlevania 4.
Right.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, there's some great Castlevania games. Early Castlevania games are just so good.
That was a good one.
Did you guys
Sega Genesis? I didn't have one.
Yeah, I had one, but I'm just having a hard time. Me and my brother used to play Road Rash a ton on Sega Genesis. And that game's real fun.
Right.
Kind of this weird motorcycle game. It had this amazing ragdoll physics thing. When you got knocked off your bike, you'd do this just rough and tumble and then have to sprint back to it. It was fun. I like Road Rash a lot.
Road Rash was fun. Sonic.
Oh, yeah, jeez. I don't know why I was thinking so hard.
Sonic was great.
What's Sonic? I've never heard of this game.
But then I'll throw in the Sega CD. I've talked about this game a million times, but Bouncers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to try to get a hold of... I need to play this game again.
Night Trap.
So, but...
Any of you guys have a Dreamcast?
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Although I did play isn't that the system that had Knights on it, or was that the Saturn?
That was the Saturn.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't actually know, honestly, if I've ever played a Dreamcast.
I've played it a few times. I think it was my neighbor's like older sister's boyfriend had one or something. So there was one in my life somewhere, and I played it a few times.
Yeah, I worked video game retail when that existed, so it's a good possibility that I've like vaguely played one, but I don't have any real.
Yeah.
I loved my Saturn though. That was a great game. I loved Knights. There was some Panzer Dragoon was on that. There were some fun games on the Saturn. So.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I know Knights is because it's been done a couple 3 times over the years on different platforms.
Knights actually had like a special controller for the Sega Saturn that you could use.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember. Like I remember that there was one. I remember that we had. My brother probably still has it. I think he still got our Saturn. But I don't remember what was special about it. Just that it did exist. So.
Nobody talks about the Master System on here. I didn't have one either.
I don't. Not many people do. A good friend of mine had one.
Yeah.
But I don't think. I think it must not have come to the United States.
The Master System?
No, I mean it did, but I don't think maybe it made the splash that the Nintendo.
Oh no, it didn't. It didn't. A friend of mine had one when I was growing up in Florida, and I think I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And I remember wanting to go to his house and play that game, whatever it was. It was kind of a Dig Dug kind of game.
I loved it.
From what I remember, but
we had a Commodore 64 growing up, and I adored Dig Dug. That was so fun.
Well, I had a Tandy color computer, TRS-80.
Fun.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Nice.
I learned to program in BASIC a little bit when I was in 4th grade, 5th grade. It was dumb.
We used to subscribe to this magazine. I don't know what it was, Commodore 64 World or something. And literally, like the back 20 pages of the magazine would just be like basic code that you could copy into a thing and run it. And I'm like, can you imagine sitting like copying basic code out of a magazine so you could play some dumb game that probably wasn't even fun? Mm-hmm. It's good.
I did.
It's good stuff.
I know we all had a PlayStation.
I did.
Did you have a PlayStation?
My older brother had a PlayStation.
Close enough.
That'll work. Did you have a favorite game?
We didn't have a lot of games for it, so I think I played a little bit of Final Fantasy VII and Evil Dead: Hail to the King.
Was Final Fantasy VII, was that a PlayStation 1 game?
Yeah.
The 20th anniversary of that game.
It's PS1 game. It was on
months.
3 discs.
Yeah, I remember that.
And their discs had a black coating on the back, which was was it copy protection?
Yep. Yeah.
So weird.
I know.
The 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII is in like 3 months.
And we're still like 3 years away from them actually releasing a new one.
Yeah. The Final Fantasy VII came out the day before I got married. So.
And you were like, I don't know what to do on my honeymoon.
No, it was funny because I worked at Software Etc. at the time, and my store pre-sold more copies of Final Fantasy VII than any other store west of the Mississippi.
What?
It was like 275 copies.
Where
of that
was
game.
this?
Software Etc.
But where?
West Valley, Utah. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Obviously,
for our stores. Like, I mean, it was a competition. We actually got something for doing it. I don't remember what, but I remember for months we had to answer our phone like, "Thank you for calling Software Etc. Would you like to pre-purchase Final Fantasy VII?" Like that was our greeting.
Nice.
But yeah, then we found out the release date was literally going to be the day before I got married.
Oh,
and,
man.
we got there at like 7:00 in the morning and had a line of like 30 people just like waiting outside, ready to pick up Final Fantasy VII, because it was back in the day before they did like midnight releases and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was crazy. I worked like half a day that day, and then went and got married the next one. So
I think the most amount of time I spent on a game on the PlayStation 1 was the original Ridge Racer.
Oh, sure.
They came out for it, and where I finally learned how to do like the power slide or the drift around corners or whatever. Because like I'd never known what that mechanic was, because I think it was pretty new with that. And once I figured it out, I was like, holy crap, I'm actually good at this now.
That's funny.
And I would just every day. So that, and then Super Puzzle Fighter Turbo.
Dang it, you stole mine.
Is that yours?
Yeah, 100%.
That was my favorite. Well, I don't know if it was my favorite.
I don't know if it was my favorite game, but man, I played that game so much. We had it was probably the first game that I really did like couch co-op on. And we'd have friends over. We'd have 8 or 10 friends come over, and we'd just sit and play that like winner loser. Someone someone loses, someone else pops on, someone loses, someone else pops on, and it was a cool game because it was kind of easy to get into, and you could play that game for a half hour and be as good, or at least as lucky as someone who'd played a lot more. And so it's a fun game.
Did you ever play Parasite Eve?
I know of it, but I've not played it.
It is a fantastic game, and I really, really, really wish they would reboot that one.
Yeah,
I really do, because it is a great game. It's
nice.
so cool.
Yeah, I actually so little trivia. I actually got my PlayStation 1 for free. Because I worked at Software Etc.
I financed it.
They gave all the managers one for free. It was awesome.
Well, I was obviously in the wrong gig.
No, you were. I almost guarantee you were not. That was a very low-paying job that I worked like 70 hours a week for.
Okay.
So.
What about a PS2?
This is where it starts getting tricky for me.
Yeah, same. I had one, but nothing jumps out at me specifically.
Ooh, okay.
And I think it was slightly too long ago. But like in a time when I loved games but didn't play a ton. It was after I stopped working retail, and so I was working real jobs. And I'm sure, like, if you guys start talking, I'm sure there's something that's going to pop into my head.
What's your favorite? Or do you have one?
It would be... Oh, just you wait. Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto. I didn't even think of Vice City.
San Andreas.
Right.
So close. Those two are pretty on board. And then probably Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow.
Wow.
I love that game.
I know those games. Well, I mean, I know the other
The Splinter Cell games have been great almost every iteration along the way.
Okay.
I don't know how I didn't think Vice City, because Vice City, and Kingdom Hearts. Jeez, I adored both of those games so much.
And God of War 2.
I've never played a God of War game, and I bought God of War 3 remastered.
And have you not played that yet?
I bought it like yesterday.
Oh, see, you kind of need to play the other two.
It'll be okay.
So good.
I'm not gonna.
It's a great trilogy.
Then you need to read the synopsis of the first two. You have to, because part 3 literally starts where part 2 ends. Like they share like the same cutscene.
Really?
Yeah.
It picks up right where it leaves off.
I will Wikipedia those first.
You has to.
I has to. But yeah, no, I'm going to go with Vice City. Like Vice City, I wanted to play so bad. I remember I got my PS2 and that game. I think I got it for my birthday, but I had to go on a business trip directly after, like the day after, and I took my PlayStation with me. And I remember going through the airport, because I think like nowadays, I think people travel with consoles all the time. I don't think it's that rare. I mean, I've taken mine on probably 2 vacations with me. Mm-hmm. And I remember going through the security line and the guy pulling it out like, what is this? I'm like, no, it's just a game machine. I promise it's not a bomb. It's fine. And them doing like the bomb check on it and such. So, but Kingdom Hearts, I played 80 hours into it. Love that game.
My favorite PS2 game is Amplitude, and it will always be my favorite PS2 game forever and ever.
You still break that out every once in a while.
I do. Yeah. I hooked it up, and I got the HDMI converter and everything to hook it up so I could play it on my big giant TV.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. Loved that game.
That was a good one.
I'm just like, the funny thing is, I couldn't remember anything until I started looking at games, and now I'm like, but I love that. But I love that Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank was another big one, too.
But yes, Amplitude was my favorite, and then followed by a close second and third with God of War 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And actually, God of War 2 might be better than God of War 1.
God of War 2 definitely learned from God of War 1 and just made a better game.
Which they're both just so good.
I'm not sure why I never played either of those. Like, they were just, I owned the systems they were on, just never did it.
N64?
I didn't have one.
Oh, okay.
This one's tough, but probably Super Mario 64 and Army Men Sarge's Heroes.
Which one?
I never played that one.
That you played as the plastic green army men.
Oh, those were so fun.
With flamethrowers, and you could melt all the yellow army men and the spiders and the ants and all the... Oh, so good. And
Mario 64 was... that's...
That game's so...
Because I never played GoldenEye. And I know everybody's like, whoa, GoldenEye is amazing.
I played it multiplayer like a handful of times.
Yeah.
I think the problem with a lot of those games, it's like when we get to Xbox Next, like everyone was so big on Halo. Like Halo's the best game of all, whatever. But I kind of once, like probably when the Super Nintendo came out, like right in that area, I stopped playing consoles almost completely for... I don't know, a bunch of years and played PC games. And so like playing Halo after you've played a bunch of like really good PlayStation or PC first person shooters was very underwhelming. And GoldenEye was the same. Like it wasn't as good as what you could play on a computer.
Right.
I wasn't super big into GoldenEye, but the first person shooter that I did like on N64 was Turok.
Oh, I heard that was fun.
It's good. The weapons were
if you really like fog.
Lots
of fog.
But man, the weapons in that game were the best.
People forget how bad the like rendering distance on the N64 was. Especially early ones. Do you remember San Francisco Rush? I want to say that's what it's called.
It's a racing
It was
game,
a racing
isn't it?
game, but like they set it in San Francisco so they'd have a reason to have fog everywhere because the draw distance was so shallow.
Well, that's why it fits within Turok really well too, because you're in this really like dark, jungly, misty environment.
So it was literally because
you
they
can't
could only
even
render
tell
like
that
10
it's-
feet in front of it.
Yeah,
So
and it works
Nice.
perfectly. And there was a cheat that could make everyone have big heads. It was great.
They had the Mario Party games on the N64, right?
Yeah,
sure,
Did they?
Yep.
I don't know.
there was plenty of those on there. I think
Can't remember.
at least like the first 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they were fun. GameCube, I owned one and I currently own one, and my favorite game is Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe. I didn't have one, and I don't.
Oh.
I mean, I think I've played one. I've missed those, like
Oh,
the
and
N64 and the
Muppet,
GameCube.
Muppet
were-
Cruise Party or Muppet Party Cruise.
You keep talking about this
I
game.
know.
I want to play this game so bad.
It's so good. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm a King Prawn. And then an Xbox.
Xbox is another challenging one. I think.
I'm going to say Fable because that's the only game I ever played.
I was going to say Fable 2. You know, the
Yeah.
funny thing about, or Fable as well, not Fable 2. Fable for me is an odd game because I haven't played it a lot myself. I owned it, but mostly I watched other people play it. Like my brother, like, oh, I want to try Fable. And so he came over and I watched him play like the first couple hours of it. And another buddy of mine, like, oh, I'd like to try Fable. Came over and played a couple hours of it. And then like by the time I got to play it, I'm like, well, I've already seen the first 2 hours of it. I'm kind of bored.
Right, I'm done.
But I really loved the premise of that game, and I'm such a big fan of Guy McGuy Pants that made that game.
Guy McGuy Pants. Very, very famous guy.
Peter Molyneux. He did a ton of games, but that's
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Fable was great. That's definitely on my list. I think I have 2 other games. One would be just lost it. Man.
my
Splinter
favorite.
Cell Chaos Theory. I played Pandora Tomorrow on the PS2, but I got Chaos Theory on the Xbox, and that was one of the best games I think released
Nice.
in that generation. And then I also really enjoyed Mercenaries. Big open world, blow stuff up game. I think really was a next generation game at the time, and a game called Freedom Fighters, which was like a third person action game. Exactly what it sounds like. You're like this revolution group of freedom fighters. So, I mean, picking up assault rifles and Molotovs and just fighting for freedom, kind of. Yeah,
Nice.
it was really cool. It's a really interesting game. I'd love to go back and play that, but I remember have fond memories of that game.
I remember playing. I played a lot. I've kind of been looking through lists, and so many of the games that came out on the Xbox I actually loved, but didn't play them on the Xbox. I played them on the PC. Like Morrowind
Yeah.
was a huge game that I adored, but I played it on the PC. Max Payne, I loved, but I
Payne's
played it on the
great.
PC.
Right, I never played that
So,
one.
Max Payne's great.
Hmm.
Great. Those are good questions. I like
Yeah,
that.
those are good.
A little trip down memory lane.
Any other systems we need to hit? No? Okay.
The new ones are new.
Yeah, the new ones are new. We talk about those weekly here on the Bite Me podcast. All right, next question comes from Chad.
Chad!
Who's Chad?
A lovely person that sent us a
All
question
right,
on
Chad.
Facebook.
How you doing?
And
He talks like Vinny.
wow,
Chad, how you
everybody's that's the one accent you can do. Cool.
Oh, no, I got accents.
He listed out
Great.
the 5 accents he can do the other day. I think we should stick with one.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Chad asks, any thoughts on 7 Days? He's really enjoying it. Also, the culling.
Yeah, I think he's actually
Wow.
talking about 7 Days to Die.
Okay.
I wish I'd actually asked him that, but I think he's talking about 7 Days to Die. It's a game that I'm not super familiar with, to be honest. It's been in early access for a long time, like 4 years.
Holy crap.
But it sounds really fun. Like the description on Steam is 7 Days to Die is an open world game that is a unique combination of first person shooter, survival horror, tower defense, and a role playing game. And that just sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds fun. And it's free, I think, right?
No.
I thought I read free.
No,
at some
it's
point.
not. It's it looks like it's normally $25. It is on sale now, but by the time this airs, it will no longer be. So it's normally $25. But it looks cool, and it's got really good reviews on Steam. So I mean, definitely one that was way off my radar, but that I might give a shot to because I kind of enjoy those genres, and it looks really good. So not on my list, but definitely one that I'm going to check out now. What was I saying?
Well, I don't know. I interrupted you.
Excellent. Anyway, as Adam paused it to tell me that it was also available on consoles, and apparently it is not on early access on those. So your mileage may vary, but it looks real good and just looks fun, and that's a really interesting genre twist up. So
And it's from Telltale on the consoles, is what it says.
really,
According to this, it says Telltale
Published.
Publishing.
oh,
consoles.
published by Telltale.
Oh yeah, that's whatever.
Developed by the Fun Pimps.
I love the Fun Pimps.
It is developed by the Fun Pimps. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I've seen this game art all over the place. I know it's out there. I've just actually never gotten down into it.
Yeah, it looks like it's just like a super wide open game with a ton of different stuff. So yeah, definitely something I want to check out.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will. Yeah. So to answer your question, I have no thoughts on it.
Yeah. Not yet.
Other than it looks cool.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think we can thank Chad for bringing a game to our attention that I was not aware of, and maybe other people like it too.
What's the culling?
The Culling is an early access game on the Xbox. I don't know if it's on anything else. Might be on PC too,
Yeah,
but
I'm not
it's
sure. It
it's
is
a
on
battle
Steam.
royale type.
Oh,
game.
is it?
So
See, those are starting to become my thing.
Apparently, that's your jam now. You're going to buy
Now
H1Z1 too.
now that that's entered early access on the Xbox, I want to pick that up and at least play that sort of game right now because it's very popular and it looks fun.
Yeah, I think that the kind of battle royale style game is kind of an interesting. It's shocking to me, I guess, that that no one's ever really thought about this genre,
Right.
Really until maybe it's more like
Technologically, I don't think up
Yeah.
until now there's
You can
really been a
have
good time to
100
try
players on
it.
the same
players in a
thing.
game.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one looks like the culling is actually 16v16. I don't know how that works, but
also I guess more than just that. The games are designed around that. Other games you could play 32 people death match with one life, but these games are actually designed around that idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's very. There's a big difference between those two.
And games like this are, I think, more accepted nowadays because of just the idea of just multiplayer only games
Existing.
also. So
That's true.
it's a competitive type game
Well,
that
I
can
think-
exist with how much online play we have.
And honestly, you probably had to have a publishing model like Steam because these games would have a really hard time finding a publisher to exist in a store, and so something like Steam really made that possible, where you could have distribution and only charge $20 or $30 for a game.
But I'm really excited to see the future of these style of games.
Agreed. I'm really enjoying PUBG, and I think that we're just going to see more of PUBG. Yeah, exactly.
All right, on to our next question. Thank you, Chad. On to Colby.
That is my brother.
That's your brother.
He talks just like me, according to Adam.
Yes, he does. When we were on that chat that one night playing The Division,
Yeah.
I'm like, who's talking right now? I cannot tell. If you could combine two IPs from any medium into a video game, what would they be, and what kind of game would they be?
It's tough.
So can we clarify this question a little bit?
Yeah, please.
Is this like Marvel versus Capcom?
It could be.
Or DC Universe versus Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or,
Okay.
I mean,
Those are fighting games, obviously, but those games do exist.
Kingdom Hearts is kind of a thing where it's like
Yeah,
you've got Final
for
Fantasy
sure.
here and Disney here.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
Combine them. I don't know. Do you guys have any big ideas?
I would like to see Titanic and
Mario Rabbids.
that would be amazing. I'm thinking more like Titanic and like Last of Us.
Yeah, that would be really.
That
cool.
would be a lot of fun.
Strangely, Titanic would actually you could make that into like a really cool walking simulator.
Where you're going to die.
Like the ending of that, but you have to solve something beforehand, or
Wouldn't it be cool if it was a walking sim and the very last decision you could make in the game was whether or not to get off that door?
So it's Titanic the movie, not actual Titanic.
Right? No, no. I want the real historical stuff. Give me
Adam
Jack and
Tart
Rose.
will go on.
I don't know. I am such a fan of zombie games. I really am.
I kind of want like Mario meets Duke Nukem. I want Mario to just stick a cigar in his mouth and grab onto some strippers and just take a machine gun and just start blowing up the world.
Isn't that just Wario?
I mean,
No. You want to hear something really funny? I felt really dumb. I think you actually told me the other day.
the Waluigi?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Waluigi. I'm like, the what? He's like, evil Luigi, like Wario's evil Mario. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
You've never heard of Waluigi?
I've never heard of this. It
Yeah.
was totally new to me.
wow.
I think, like I said, I missed some kind of Nintendo stuff in the middle there. I
Obviously.
had no idea that was a thing. And then I saw a picture of him. I'm like, that's weird.
It's
Well,
real weird.
it came up because we were talking about Boshi as well, the bad Yoshi.
Yeah, no idea.
All the Mario.
I actually don't know about Boshi.
Yeah, Boshi.
Is he?
Bless you.
What color is he?
I think he's blue.
Blue. Yeah.
But he's the bad Yoshi.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
Well,
He's
good
from
stuff.
Super Mario. is it like Super Mario RPG or something? He has one small appearance in something, but he's actually, I don't even know if he's in the game. He makes an appearance in the booklet with the game. I can't remember. No one
quote you.
No one quote me. No one write an article about what I'm saying because I'm trying to remember. And I wasn't prepared to talk about Boshi today.
That's all right.
But look up Boshi.
Interesting.
So what would your combination of things and stuff be?
The Kingdom Hearts one actually kind of like I'd been kind of thinking along those lines. There was a game that came out for the Xbox 360 that was called just like literally Disneyland.
You were talking about that before.
You could just literally like it was a Kinect game and you could just kind of walk through Disneyland. But there's also a series of books called The Kingdom Keepers, and it follows like a story of a bunch of kids that are kind of magic, and they like it's kind of this weird, I guess, alternate world where like the bad guys at Disneyland are actually bad, but during the day they just present as like, hey, people in this amusement park, and it's their job to like fight back the evil beings in Disneyland. Like I think you could make a really fun like role-playing game or adventure game that had a setting at Disneyland or Disney World, but then was actually about fighting the bad guys, and helping rid the world of these evil. So like the Kingdom Keeper games, like it's not really two genres, but it's Disneyland real life, Kingdom Keepers this this book series, and let's combine those. But I mean, this is like you could go on forever about like great movies you love. I'm sure there's something we could do really. I'd love to see a Dark Tower game, the Stephen King series. I don't know what we'd mix that with, but Fallout.
Right. Yes. So the Titanic zombie thing. There's actually a book. I think it's called Deck Z, and it's about zombies on the Titanic. So I know there's actually. It's by the same guy who did. The one with World War Z.
Chris Pauls and Matt Solomon.
Max Brooks.
Carry on. I just silenced my phone.
Excellent.
Is it Deck Z?
Deck Z, the Titanic Unsinkable Undead.
Yeah.
By Chris Pauls and Matt Solomon.
Yeah, this is the same people who did
World War Z.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting.
So anyway, that's what I want. Yes,
I can 100% get behind Titanic and zombies.
Oh my god, I want to like mow down like Zombie Rose, really bad because she's just so annoying. I love her. I love the movie. I can't help it. It's.
I've only seen it once, but it was.
I saw it 7 times in the theater.
That doesn't shock me in any way.
So I got an idea. So I've talked about PlayStation All Stars before, which is a game I really liked. It's like Super Smash Bros. On the PlayStation with PlayStation IP characters.
Yes.
And then we have Super Smash Bros. It's a Nintendo game with Nintendo characters. I want this game for Xbox with Xbox IP characters, but then I want all of those teams to fight each other in a game. In like 5v5 combat.
How cool would that be?
So like Mario goes up against like Sub-Zero?
Yeah. So you could have whatever.
Versus the Halo dude?
Yeah, like Master Chief. You can have Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. You name it. I mean,
that'd be great.
But
that would be an undertaking.
Yeah. See now I want to mix that up with PUBG. Or I'm sorry, PUBG.
Yeah, I was trying to think how is this a battle royale?
We'll call it PUBG. There could be zombies too.
Yeah.
And then everyone chooses a character from a console. You parachute into an island and kill each other.
That would be so
Could
great.
you imagine if you could do it with like but everyone had their like special abilities. So like Mario had like could shoot fireballs and run fast.
When Luigi
you
wants
could
to
just
jump,
be
he
like a
floats a little
Pikmin.
bit.
And
you're just like running around like being a Pikmin.
Oh god, this is the best idea. Like
what if you're the Pokemon guy with your Pokeballs and you can like collect people?
Yeah,
like that's how you get rid of them.
I don't know if you can collect people. But
I caught a wild dude.
You've got a Marcus Phoenix.
That's the one.
This is like this
is a rabbit
hole. It can't
hole.
happen, but literally, like you're like this could never happen, and then you like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit happened.
It did, and it was amazing.
It was totally amazing, but
well,
I want that game. Dylan wins that round.
Yeah, thanks, Colby. That was an interesting question, one that we could talk about for a long time.
I love that. No, I think if you could pause here for a moment.
Yeah.
This next question, Dylan has conversed with the author of this question about what accent he would like this read in, and we have come to a decision. He copped out on it last week because he didn't want to offend.
Well, I only have so many accents, so I got to default to like one of the few, which is like bad Minnesota, New York country bumpkin, or California surfer bro. So
which one's it gonna be?
California surfer bro.
Yeah, he wants the surfer stoner
Anyway, Kevin asked the following question.
I'm not ready for
You're not going to be able to do it.
I wasn't even ready for this.
If you can't make it through this, I can do it.
As a California stoner surfer bro? Oh, excellent.
Bro, what is your biggest gaming purchase regret? Could be anything like related to gaming, peripheral software, or hardware.
What was that?
Ever regret buying anything like a new console day one, bro?
My favorite thing about this is that he's literally just like a slightly stoned Beavis or Butthead.
Like, yeah, you sound like a stoned Beavis or Butthead who just discovered his dad's Playboy collection. That's what it sounds like.
Love it.
No, but we're going to go shred the gnar later.
No, yeah, there you go.
Oh, shred the gnar.
Can we compare and contrast this with Adam's version?
No, I'm good.
All right. Biggest gaming regret, purchase-wise.
Bro, like,
Bloodborne.
seriously?
The worst $8 I've ever spent.
The worst
Really?
$8?
Was it just that
I
terrible?
don't regret any money I've ever spent other than the $8 I put on Bloodborne. Game's awful. I want my money back.
I was super excited that today my Humble Bundle purchase went through, which means that next Friday I'm going to get a copy of Dark Souls 2 because I'm.
I already pre-purchased it just so I could do it, and I haven't downloaded it.
I really want to try it because I think that's exactly like I've never bought a Souls or Bloodborne game because I think that's exactly the reaction I'm gonna have. Like, this game sucks. Why would I want to do this? But I'm so curious because people talk about them like they're just the second coming of video games, and I'm super.
It takes a
interested to try
special
it.
someone, and that's not me.
The masochist.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know if I've got necessarily any video game, like, well, okay, I'm a liar. I am a liar. I do have a piece of software regret, and that would be Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh, you dumb.
That is my regret, because I cannot stand the way that game controls. It annoys the living piss out of me, and I do not like that game.
Sure.
So there's that. However, hardware-wise, my biggest regret would be the Nintendo Virtual Boy.
You bought a Virtual Boy?
I bought a Virtual Boy.
What's a Virtual Boy?
Wait, what? Really?
It's this tabletop thing that had this like red visor looking thing that's set on this little kickstand, and then you would look into it, and you had a controller that was very similar to a GameCube controller if you look at it. And you put your face up into it, and it was two LED red screens or LCD red screens, and it was all in black and red, and it was in 3D virtual reality.
It was like playing Battlezone, but every game was like
terrible.
Battlezone. It gave people like wicked headaches. Nintendo made a huge push at it. They sent a Virtual Boy to every single Software Etc. in the United States. So I've played it too because we had one demoed on our counter for, I don't know, the 3 weeks that system was alive. I think only maybe 10 games came out for it.
If that.
And it was, I don't want to say the technology wasn't cool because they came out in like the late 90s. I want to say
the Virtual Boy. No, Virtual Boy was early 90s. Virtual Boy was 92.
No,
yeah, 92, 93. I bought it when I still lived in Florida. So that was, I moved out of Florida in 94.
No, release date was 95.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it was earlier than that.
Yeah,
I got it when it released.
I would have thought it was a little later than that. August 16th, 1995, which was...
where did I buy that thing?
Yeah, which was literally like right as I started at Software Etc. Probably
it was so bad.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
Yeah, it gave people wicked bad headaches. They're like, you should
only
play
it.
Wicked bad headaches. You should only play them for like 15 minutes.
Wicked bad headaches.
But that's what they look like.
Yeah.
And
so far, and oddly enough, the only other purchase regret that I've got, even though it's really not a regret, I'm just kind of waiting for it to catch on more, is the PSVR.
Yeah.
It's not a regret. I don't regret it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I don't think I'm ever going to regret it, but I'm just like, I definitely regret being an early adopter.
Yeah.
That's what I regret. I don't regret the actual purchase of it. I just should have waited for the second one. But that's shiny.
All. I'm not sure there's going to be one. At least not, more appropriately, I don't think there's going to be another one in this generation.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is the one we've got for the next 3 to 5 years.
That's exactly
which is fine.
Yeah,
because if I get 3 to 5 years worth of enjoyment out of it,
I think there's going to be that was something I was super happy at Sony's conference that they did announce like another 5 games coming out for that looked good. And none of them had release dates really, but I thought that was exciting. The Virtual Boy, by the way, sold 775,000 units.
It sold that many?
They sold almost 1 million of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's terrible.
we sold them. People would come in and buy them. So, But yeah, they were.
I was too young to be drunk to buy that, but I still bought it.
Yeah, they had 22 games released for it.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
I remember playing Mario Tennis, thinking that was the coolest thing.
Oh, Mario Tennis was so good.
It was fun.
In the Virtual Boy, though. I mean, the thing is like the technology at the time was pretty cool. Like, I mean, it was really cool to be able to play a 3D game, regardless of what it actually looked like. But the implementation was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not a big early adopter for a lot of things, and so I'm not sure if I have something that I really bought that I really, really regret. I don't pre-buy a lot of games. I don't buy a lot of games at full price, to be honest, and so yeah, no, I don't. I'm not sure if I have any. Well, it's not that I'm responsible. It's probably more that I'm cheap. You know,
you like money?
Yeah,
you like more games.
Yeah, exactly. Like I buy games in quantity. I don't pay a lot for them, but I mean, also I'm really that person. I'm like, oh, I could buy this game for $60 now, or I could buy it in 3 months for $35.
Right.
You know.
Well, yeah. Once you realize that you have so many games, you're like, I don't need
new games.
I'm not going to get to this. I still have like sealed games like on the shelf. I'm like, why do I have these? I bought these 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't buy a lot of stuff, you know, and like the big regrets for me would probably be like, hey, I bought that game. I mean, like as a for instance, like I bought Sunset Overdrive.
Oh yeah.
And then like 2 days later, or maybe a month later, it came out as a Xbox Games with Gold game. So I've done that a couple times where I've bought games and, you know, they've gone down in price significantly relatively soon after.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying, but I don't.
It's not really
like is that a regret, or is that where you're like,
dang it? Yeah.
It's more like,
you know, I bought a day one Xbox One X and a day one PlayStation Pro.
Have you pre-ordered the Xbox One X already?
Oh, I'm sorry, one Xbox One S.
See, this is the problem we were talking about.
Yeah. I will. I mean, they're just not available for pre-purchase yet. So, but you know, in both of those, like I got, and I'm happy that I got them, and they both dropped in price.
Right.
You know, pretty soon after. But that's just how that goes.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Thanks,
Sorry
bro.
for that impression.
Thanks,
like
bro.
I wasn't really prepared for it, so it was bad.
I don't think it would have been any better if you'd been prepared.
That one's good, I promise.
He's a liar.
All right, moving on to Ryan. What is your favorite video game Easter egg that you've unlocked or heard about? His is unlocking Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit and WWF Just Bring It.
That would also be mine if I knew about that. Because Ryan is telling me that I can be Fred Durst
in a wrestling
game. Like, I'm not surprised because, one, Limp Bizkit was basically the biggest thing in music in 2001 when this game came out.
Yeah, for about 8 minutes.
That, you know, I wish that was true, but it's really not.
I know.
It was short, but it was not quite that short.
12 minutes. Sorry.
And Limp Bizkit did contribute music to the WWF during that time. So they were, a couple of their songs were featured in the wrestling program. So that doesn't really surprise me, but I didn't play this game. I didn't have it. I don't think I had. This was early on in the PlayStation 2 life, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I even had a PlayStation 2 yet. I got into that franchise a little bit later, but that kind of bums me out because that would have been sweet because I'm a huge Limp Bizkit fan.
Admittedly, okay. Any other Easter eggs? Because I've never been an Easter egg guy or look at that cool. I've never been
that guy
into games to notice things like that.
I think what's back when we were kids, like the fun part about Easter eggs was that so many of them just weren't true. Like you'd hear like literally on the playground, like, oh my gosh, if you do X, you can do all sorts of. One of the ones I distinctly remember as a kid was like all the secret hidden warp zones in Mario, and obviously there were 2 hidden warp zones, but people would say there was a bunch more. And if you just go here, there's this secret block you can jump through. You're gonna have to try a bunch of times, and like spending literally hours. Like, no, they said you can do it. Or I remember if you could beat Mario, I think 27 times in a row, like something would happen on your 28th run through, and trying to do that, and stuff like that. But there were a lot of kind of fun ones. Like, did you guys play Doom 2?
Nope.
I want to say Doom 2 had a secret room you could go to, and if you I don't remember exactly how you did. I've done it in the past, but I don't remember. And John Romero, one of the lead developers of Doom, and I mean quite famous game developer, actually had his head on a pike.
What?
In this room.
Gross.
So that was pretty cool. I'm trying to think of when I read this question, I had a couple in my head and they've all gone away. But maybe the hot coffee mod, does that count as one?
That's kind of funny.
The hot coffee mod.
Well, that wasn't really it really was a mod. Like Grand Theft Auto
San Andreas.
They made this like thing where you could actually like film a porno in it.
Yeah.
And then they left it out of the game, and a modder actually found a way to re-enable it, and the game got re-rated as a AO title. They had to take it off the shelves and
then remove it, and then
put
redistribute
it.
M rating.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, it was not good.
Grand Theft Auto has a lot of Easter eggs in it, though. You can get pretty deep into that, all of them.
Yep. Do you guys know, like, and it's probably not the first one, but it's the first one that I know of, the very first Easter egg put in a game?
Mm-mm.
So back in like probably Atari land, developers like would make games and then really not get much in the way of credit for them. There wasn't like roll credits, there wasn't anything. So like these developers were often not getting paid very much to develop these games either. And so, like they like, hey, can we at least put our name in it? They're like, nope, can't do it. And there's a game called Adventure, and it's kind of a early kind of exploration. It was an adventure game, hence the name. And there
Weird.
was a secret area you could get to, and if you got into this area, the developer actually put his name in it. But it was cartridge based, and it was Atari, so like there was no patching. Like they didn't find out until the game had been in the wild for months and months and months and months, and then they found this hidden
So good.
Good
guy's
job.
name and like pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another game that has some good Easter eggs is like Borderlands.
Oh yeah.
And in Borderlands 2, there's a cave with like the Minecraft creepers
Really?
in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty fun. Just like crossover, like, and it's funny because it fits really well within the art style of the game
it does,
too.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it still looks real primitive, I guess, compared to, Minecraft.
That's fun. I didn't know
Right.
Borderlands, but that's pretty funny.
I need to play more Borderlands. I love that game.
I need to. Well, thank you, Ryan. All right, Eddie. Name a game that made you go, why isn't there a part 2 to this?
I got tons of these.
There's like a lot. Can't think of any of them right now. But
Go, Dylan.
Mad World from the Nintendo Wii.
Oh, I thought you meant the song.
Was that
I've talked
the-
about this once. It's the black and white game with
like the hyper-violent one?
hyper-violent, the
Yeah.
blood's red art style, kind of Sin City comic book.
I never played that game.
Third person over the shoulder beat 'em up style with a chainsaw arm. That game's dope. They need a new one in the next generation. That was on the Wii.
I know, it was on the Wii, and I remember there being a giant controversy about it
Yeah.
because up to that point, the Nintendo had been such a family-friendly kind of franchise, even with the GameCube. It was so family-friendly, and that game in particular was one of the first ones that really was like, well, we're going to go all in now.
Yeah, you could like pull signposts out of the ground and like impale people with them. Like it was just bananas violence. So it was awesome.
Because when I think
But
of violence, I think of bananas.
It played really well though. That was the thing too. It was a good game and it was well received at that time.
Mhm.
Next, Pokemon Snap
Next.
on
My
the
brother loves that game.
N64.
What's
This game
this?
was great. It was. You literally, it was like you're on a rail, so you would be like on a safari kind of
Yeah.
in Pokemon World, but you
Yeah.
would just be taking pictures, and you would get scored on how good your pictures were. But this game was so cool. This kind of goes back to almost the Easter egg kind of thing. There was a lot of like secret things you could find though, and if you would do certain things, you would have objects you could throw into volcanoes, and Pokemon would come out of it. So there was so much to do really within that world. But I'd love to see another one of these on the Switch or something.
It could happen.
I've heard it's
why?
super fun.
I don't know anyone that didn't enjoy this
Yeah.
game. If they had played it, you'd probably still enjoy it now, other than the fact that it probably looks like a turd. But that they need a Pokemon Snap too. I don't know why that hasn't happened.
Hasn't happened.
L.A. Noire.
Did you like
Oh,
that?
I
it's
loved
a
that
great
game.
I was never able to like figure out the like look for micro expressions on people. Like it would go like, who's guilty? I'm like, I don't know.
Such a good game.
That game was so fun. I love that kind of stuff too. Just that I mean, film noir basically, but in a game. So it was just that was my game. I was so jonesed about that, and I thought it was good. So it's like, where I want another game like that. I love Rockstar too. So anything they do, I want more of it. Manhunt 3. Manhunt 3, where are you? I didn't put that one on this list because they did make a second one. But,
you want a sequel to your favorite sequel?
Yeah. And then Conquer.
The Bad Fur Day?
Yeah. More so I want... They did Conquer Live and Reloaded, which had this, like, Conquer versus Nazi Squirrel World War II D-Day type game added to it.
That sounds amazing.
If you remember that at all.
I don't.
I want that game. I want that sequel, not specifically Conquer's Bad Fur Day where you fight the poo monster.
Yeah.
But Conquer Live and Reloaded was, I think, released on the Xbox, and it had that extra like multiplayer weird. It was I don't really know how to explain it, but it was bizarre. Awesome, and I want that. So
okay.
That's those are my Where Are They Now
stuff,
sequels.
Man. That's good stuff. I want Firewatch 2. Is that
too soon?
I know that the last game only came out last year, but I really want another one. I don't know how that's going to work because I guess maybe you could see what happened to him next. I don't know. Maybe I just want another game that's just like Firewatch with different characters. I don't know.
I'm down. I want to get back into that world and have more reason to explore it.
I don't know.
It was interesting.
I don't know when I got old and like what I really just want is narrative games that look real pretty and I just walk around a lot.
All right.
Well, a little tangent, but have you heard that they have like a choose your own adventure movie on Netflix?
Who?
Or they're doing
Firewatch? Yeah.
No. I can't. I don't know what game it is or what movie it is, but they're actually going to do choose your own adventure movies.
And so you literally
you'll have sequences in the movie where you get to choose to make a choice within the movie.
Interesting. There is a Firewatch movie.
It's kind of a tangent, but
yeah.
I've always been curious about that. I know that's a lot of work to put into a movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the same way as it is with game, with all of the morality decisions. But anyway.
Yeah, I can't think of anything offhand. I think the thing is like there are so many games I love and so many games that I wish had a sequel, but at the same time, like there are so many other games.
Right.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Do you have any big ones?
No, like I only just played Ori late last year, early this year, and I'm like, there's a second one coming out, so like my wish has been granted.
I think that's the thing is I want another Inside. There's a bunch of games I've played recently that I really want a second one too, but like they all came out in 2016, so it might just be too early. They're probably making another great game anyway. So
yeah, seriously. I don't know. I really liked Mario 64.
Yeah.
Or actually, I mean, I really like Mario 64, but I liked what they did with Super Mario Sunshine.
I've never played that.
It's such a great game, and I would love to have seen a sequel to that one just because the mechanics in it were so different from all the other Mario games. And it played so differently. It's almost like it was the perfect stopping place in between Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy.
Sure.
And it was because what Mario Galaxy did with the gravity things and the circular worlds, it was so cool. But Mario Sunshine had this really cool water mechanic. You had a water gun that you filled up with water, and you would jet around on that and spray things. It was just really cool.
That is cool.
And I really liked it, and they never did a second one.
Did you guys ever play Super Dodgeball?
Oh, my God, yeah. Are you kidding me? I whooped my friend's ass every summer afternoon with that game. They would come over because we had a Nintendo. My friend Jeremy Culler down the street, he had one, and we would rent that depending on whose parents or grandparents that day or that weekend.
Sucker into it?
Yeah, we could get them to rent it, and we beat the crap out of each other with that game, and that game is amazing. Yeah. Like you would get these special throws, and I remember the one that you could jump up and throw, and it would turn it into basically this hyper flying disc, and it would just knock you out in one hit. And
it was back in the day when like realistic sports games. I think it was. I wonder if it was just like hard to make realistic sports games, or if it was just like a different thing. But it was like in that kind of world where NBA Jam existed and like Super Baseball.
It was the Super Nintendo. It was the regular Nintendo. It was the old Nintendo. Geez. So it was there with Blades of Steel and Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, my cousin owned it, and it was so fun. We used to play that every time we go to my cousin's house and have a sleepover. We'd play Super Dodgeball. I'm like, I don't know if I need a sequel to that game, and I'm not even sure like I still live in a world where that's a game I want to play, but man, I
do.
Yeah, I have like that could be a terrific like couch co-op. And I mean, the thing is like back then it was only 2-player. Can you imagine playing that like 8-player?
Well, there's what was the game that they just put out for one of the PS Plus games, the Dodgeball Disco or something like that?
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of along the same lines as that.
Yeah, I should try that. I don't remember, one of our listeners played that and said it was really fun.
Yeah, I kind of want to look into that.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, there's that.
Can I go back to Mario for a second?
Yes.
How did they manage to make each one of their 3D games? I never really thought about it. It was so much different than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's why, is because instead of doing another Super Mario Sunshine, they did Super Mario Galaxy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which they made 2 of, but they've always been, just pushing.
Yeah, they do a really
further
good job of reinventing. And I mean, and the new one's no different.
Yeah, the new one's going to be interesting
I'm
because
really curious.
It's open world.
Yeah, to a degree. I don't think it's as open. It's not Link, but
it's not Link. But I mean, it's open world where you can open different areas.
Yeah. It's supposed to be great.
Well, maybe it's going to be open world along the lines of the original Mario 64.
And that's what they said, except that the worlds are bigger.
Yeah. Right. That'll be
but
cool.
I mean, like the whole capture mechanic is crazy. Like I was reading or listening to a podcast the other day where they said you can use your hat to capture a manhole cover, and then jump down the hole.
I like all the uproar that people are having. That hat is possessing other things. It's demonic. Yeah, people are freaking out about it. Nintendo had to release a statement saying that he's not possessing them.
And like flying turtles, isn't a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So thank you, Eddie, for that very fun question. Coming from Evan, this one's for you, Dylan.
Yep.
If you had to make a Hearthstone card based on someone or something in your life, what would it be called and what would it do? Seeing as you are currently obsessed with Adam West, you would make a card based on me, I am sure. And its superpower would probably sarcasm people to death.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
You were definitely on the list, but you did not make the final cut. This was very challenging, and I tried to come up with something with the proper mechanics, too, to really... Because, that would be great, right? But how do I actually use mechanics within the game to realize that card? That would have been, I think, really, really challenging.
You just get me in there complaining, and I talk so much, everybody loses focus, and you can kill them all.
Right, but how... But what are the actions of that card? I don't know. But that's why I came up with a card.
Do you have an actual list of...
Yeah, no,
Do you have an actual card in front of you?
It's not a card, but I have all the... I have its traits and its skills.
Oh,
so this...
Blizzard, listen up. Here's your new card.
This card is based on my brother's cat, Landers, who is a total nuisance, but I live with this cat. So, but its name is King Meow. So King Meow is the name of the card. It is a 0/1 creature, so it has 0 attack power and 1 defense power. It has taunt, which means that you must remove all taunt creatures from the battlefield before you can attack anything else. So taunt creatures must be attacked first. And that's because Landers is a nuisance and forces his snuggles upon you. So you have to give him attention. But when King Meow enters the battlefield, you have to attach him to an opponent minion.
Okay.
And that minion cannot attack or do anything until King Meow is removed from the battlefield.
Snuggles.
Because the snuggles. So you have to use another minion or spell or something to remove King Meow. However, once King Meow is removed from the battlefield, you return him to the battlefield at the end of the turn. Because this is...
So is there any way to technically get rid of King Meow?
No, you cannot get rid of him forever. Unless, I think you have to have a card that removes him from the game. Like, you literally eviscerate him. But this is because if Landers is snuggling you and you pick him up and go put him in the other room, he will come right back and do it. Like, it's never ending. He forces his snuggles upon you 24/7. You have to give him attention all the time, and you cannot remove him. So that's my card.
There is nothing I want more in this life than someone who can draw better than one of the three of us to draw this card so it can exist in some way.
Yeah.
If I can just say, you basically did describe me. If you were to ask Kevin, if you were to describe that Kevin, you'd be like, well, that's Adam.
Yeah.
So yeah. I am part of this card.
Yeah, I think you might have an attack power though. You might be a little feistier than King Meow.
Maybe. I'll passive aggressive you to death.
I love it.
That's what I'll do. That's awesome.
I really enjoyed that. That was a tremendous answer. So, one thing that is not in our show notes, but that we do every week, and that Dylan is required to do the intro to.
Hey, yo, Vinny.
There you go.
Okay, I'm
How
like,
you doing? What do you got for us this time?
I realized that Vinny did not have a question, and so I hit him up in our Discord channel. I'm like, Vinny, hurry, we need you.
Vinny, we need your help.
And so
Vinny
he,
to the
he
rescue.
came to our rescue and has a good question. You guys ready for this?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm so ready.
Excellent. So he says,
Hit
how
us,
do you
Vinny.
feel the future of video games is heading? After E3, there were some great titles shown. What are some of your most anticipated games for the next years to come? How do we think Microsoft, Sony, etc. will continue to push the envelope within the gaming community? And as a whole, where do we feel the gaming community will be within the next decade? Next decade is a long time.
Seriously, at the rate that things are like changing just in the last 4 to 5
Yeah.
years, in another 10 years, like it's going to have changed more in 10 years than it has probably in the last 20.
Yeah, I agree. I think
If not longer.
I think the thing that we're going to see, I mean, first of all, I think gaming is in an amazing place right now. Like I can look at gaming over like I'm going to say 30-year span, because like I've been a gamer since I was 30 or since I was 5. I got my first like system I could play games on. I got a Commodore 64 when I was 5 for Christmas. And so I've been playing video games for 35 years. But you know, really when I started doing it a lot was probably when I was like 9 or 10, you know, get our first Nintendo, you know, about that age. And I've been doing it ever since. And so, you know, if you look at gaming in that kind of history, like when I was 10, like, yeah, you played video games, but, you know, nerds played video games. And it was not something you necessarily wanted to, like, tell all your friends about. And especially once I was, like, 15, 16, like, nerds play video games. Like, cool kids play sports. And, you know, we're at a place now where everyone plays video games.
Pretty much.
You know, it's all kinds of video games. And kids play Minecraft, and you know, there's a ton of systems to play, and there's literally a genre for every single thing you want to play. And you know, love them or not, like casual games have made a huge impact on, you know, gaming as a culture, where, you know, like we have, you know, people here at our office who don't play anything, but I guarantee you, if you go up to, you know, sometimes our receptionist is sitting there playing Candy Crush on her iPad, you know, and that's awesome for us as a you know, gaming culture. But you know, with things like YouTube and Twitch, people are watching games all the time, and esports are pushing video games onto ESPN. You know, like that's insane that you can watch video games on ESPN right now. So I don't know if games have ever been in a better place than they are right now, with AAA development spending literally billions of dollars to make games, or hundreds of millions of dollars to make games, and making games that make billions of dollars.
Well, aren't some of the Rockstar games, aren't some of those
I don't
pushing the
think
$1 billion
billions,
investment
but
mark?
hundreds of millions, I think.
I thought it was not Red Dead Redemption, but maybe it was like one of the Grand Theft Auto games or something.
I think
it pushed almost the $1 billion
I think like
investment mark.
$500 million is about. I heard Destiny 2 at least originally was planned to be a $500 million game. I don't know if it was, but you know, over years. But I think you know, we're seeing games that, you know, that are spending, that are, you know, have the same budgets as major motion pictures, and are
Twice
making
the budget of major motion pictures,
and are
sometimes
coming back with huge returns. And you know, I mean, for a game like Grand Theft Auto to sell 75 million copies, there's a lot of people playing. For Minecraft to have sold 125 million copies, there's a lot of people playing video games. And so, I mean, God, the future couldn't be better when you look at all the new consoles coming out and how powerful they are, and all of, you know, and unique they are. Like the Switch is not a super powerful console, but geez, is it cool, and how you can play it. And PCs are amazingly powerful these days, and you know, playing on, you know, VR is going to be, I think, huge. There's so many options, but beyond that, I think really we're getting to a point where graphics are incredible. I think within the next 5 years, everything is going to be able to run 60 frames plus a second 4K. Like that's not going to be hard, and that's great, because once you kind of hit the point where graphics can always get incrementally better, but I think we're going to get to the point of a real diminishing returns on graphics. Like how much better can they really get? And that's when you start pushing the envelope in other places, unique play styles, dedicating more CPU and stuff to physics and AI. And you know, like when you think about AI right now, and you play against, when you're playing Destiny and you go shoot up a bunch of bad guys, like those bad guys aren't thinking for themselves. They're, they have scripted things that they do. They run in circles, they shoot you, they try and hide behind cover, they try and flank. But I don't think it's going to be long before they actually give those things actual legit AI to be able to adapt to a situation. And, they're as smart as actual people. They understand in this situation, here's the best thing that I can do.
And I think that honestly, and it's such an odd game to point out the AI factor, but in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the way that some of the characters react when you do certain things, like the Hinox, it's this big creature with one eye. It's a big Cyclops looking thing. You got about 2 times you can shoot it in the eye with an arrow. The third time it sees you pull your arrow back, it covers its eye.
Yeah.
And then you drop your arrow and it lets go of its eye. So, I mean, I know that, again, that's kind of probably a scripted-ish thing, but it's moving towards that point of where things are going to happen and they're going to start doing things based on what you're actually doing.
Yeah, and I think that's so exciting. I mean, one of the downsides with Destiny 2 is that they're saying regardless of what system you play on, except the PC, that game is going to be a locked 30 frames a second game, and that's fine. Like I don't care about that. But they said the reason, and I mean, people are going to say it's a lie, but whatever. I don't care. The reason they're saying that is they said that the physics simulation and the AI simulations and the actual computational stuff they're doing is so big that they can't make it run faster than that and still be able to do all those things. And that's super exciting to me because like graphics are great and high frame rates are great, but I'd rather play a smart game, an interesting game, a game that reacts and has cool things happening to me than just, hey, that's super sharp and cool. Because I've played beautiful games that aren't fun. So let's have, I think you're going to start seeing games that are gorgeous but also have just amazing depth to them. And I think the other thing that's really cool is the indie scene right now is incredible, and you're seeing super smart, super inventive games that can exist because you can make games that don't cost $1 billion, like with new frameworks and things like Unity and Unreal Engine and stuff that that literally are free to try, that I could go download and make a game and it doesn't cost me a penny until I actually try and sell that game. It's amazing what smart, interesting, creative people are able to come up with, and I think that's going to be super interesting to watch too. But like, there's never been a better time ever to be a gamer than right now.
I agree.
Excellent.
I'm going to be a little cynical.
Oh, I hate you.
Just because
you're going to be cynical with that hair, might I add?
Oh yes.
Carry on.
This is my cynical hair. Been growing it out so I can do one of these and think real hard.
Are you sure you're going to be cynical?
Yeah. Because other than Nintendo, there hasn't been much difference in the way I play video games other than virtual reality. And that's not something I care about personally. Like, I don't really want to wear a headset. I don't really want to immerse myself in that way into a video game. It was fun. It's kind of gimmicky. That's not my thing. The same way I have no interest in putting glasses on to watch a movie. Like, I don't want to watch a 3D movie. It's an extra step to something, and it does not really give me any more enjoyment.
That's fair.
And games are so pretty now that they're going to get prettier, and that's inevitable. But since like the Xbox, 360 and the PlayStation 3 era, where we moved to high definition, like, games are gonna just inevitably keep getting prettier and prettier, and that's great. But like, that's all like technical achievement. But I'm more interested in like the way we play games, like the Nintendo Switch, or like the first time I picked up a Game Boy and played a game on the go.
Sure.
And those are things I'm more interested in to see where that goes. And if it's just gonna be continuously like, I'm going to play Assassin's Creed 8, and it's just going to be prettier than the last one. It's like, I don't care. Sure, there's going to be groundbreaking stories along the way to play, and we might have cool new gameplay mechanics, and that might be great. Or we might get the deepest RPG ever, and like, that's great. But I don't know how much longer games are just going to keep existing on that trajectory without doing something different. Otherwise, I'm just going to have played every game ever, and I'm just going to stop gaming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think that one thing, I think that the next, assuming that the Switch continues to be as good as it is, and I don't see any reason that it wouldn't, like the next version of the Switch, I think is going to be incredible.
Oh, it's going to be ridiculous.
Because, you know, like the iPhone had its 10th anniversary.
10th anniversary yesterday.
And you think about the difference between, especially if you think about the difference between the cell phone you had 11 years ago and the cell phone you have today. But even if you, like, I didn't have a iPhone 1 or 2. I don't know if there was a 2. My first one was a 3.
It was the iPhone, and then there was the iPhone
4.
3G and the iPhone 3G.
Yeah, my first one was a 3GS, I think. Or no, a 3. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter.
There was iPhone 3G.
That's what I had. I had a 3G, yeah. Like the difference between that phone and the phone I hold today is literally, I mean, yeah, they look pretty much the same, but it's night and day difference.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
and that's only been 10 years.
And that's only been 10 years.
And I mean, even comparing the iPhone to the iPhone, the current iPhone to the
5.
iPhone 4, the iPhone 5.
Yeah.
Like it's different. Yeah. Very different.
The next version of the Switch you pick up is going to be probably 4K. It's going, I mean, maybe not, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if it has one of those, 300 PPI screens like the, the iPhones do now. It's going to be amazing touch. It's going to be so light, and the battery's going to last forever, and it's going to be super fast. Like time just marches on these things, and it's going to be amazing.
True. Well, cool. Well, there's that. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Vinny?
Yeah.
Thank you, Vinny.
Very good.
Thank you, Vinny. How you doing?
I like that question a lot.
Yeah, that was good.
I could talk about that for days.
So finally, cheap free games. Let's wrap this sucker up. PS Plus games were announced.
Yay.
And I think it was your post that you put up. You were like, well, at least PlayStation's making up for the crap games Xbox gave us.
Yeah, the Xbox stuff was not, I mean, I don't know. I have not played most of them, so I can't really say. But maybe.
But the PlayStation Plus games evidently are a thing. The Game of Thrones Telltale's game I have zero interest in because I think Game of Thrones is dumb. I
never got into it. I watched the first episode and turned it off.
I'm not into it even a little bit.
You both are weird and broken.
It is the most hyper viscerally violent show I have ever seen, and when I see a show or a movie like a horror movie, I don't mind people getting killed.
Horror, you said?
A horror movie.
Horror
movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind seeing people getting split open and their guts coming out. That doesn't faze me. When I see somebody hanged at the gallows, and it's literally like I am at a public hanging, and it makes me want to vomit. I cannot watch that.
Yeah, when they chop his head off in that first episode, dang.
I didn't see the first episode.
You missed it.
I will not watch the
Game
first episode.
Game of Thrones is amazing.
Anyway, but I hear the story is fantastic, and I'm not talking crap about the story. That's one of the games. That's the Telltale games. It's free this month.
You might be wondering why we're talking about Game of Thrones. Yeah.
The
PS4 version of Game of Thrones for Telltale. I hear it's amazing. I haven't played it, but I hear it's really good.
Yeah. But everybody's talking about Until Dawn.
Yeah, which I have also not played, but I hear it's also really good.
I hear it's fantastic.
Great.
And real scary.
Have you played it?
Yeah. I've talked about it a few times.
Is it good?
Oh, yeah.
Is it great?
Super scary?
This is a game everyone should go download for free the moment it's available. Is it available yet?
Tuesday.
So
which is actually 2 days before you're hearing this. So by the time you hear this, it's available.
So if you have a PS4, go to the store.
How scary is it? Is it jump scary?
There's some jump scares. I don't know.
Which is fine because it's a horror movie.
I am not a scaredy cat. Like, I don't get scared. So,
I've never heard Adam have any sort of accent at all, and all of a sudden he's saying horror. I don't know where that comes from.
I don't think it's horror.
It is
horror.
There's no A in horror.
Horror.
I don't know. I always because I talk for a living. Whenever I say horror, it sounds like I'm saying whore, and I don't like saying the word whore unless I really, really need to. So I say horror to differentiate what I'm trying to say.
The word whore and horror are way too close.
Seriously, what? Oh, I just watch a horror movie. Oh, really? Debbie does what? No, horror movie. Oh, gotcha.
Well, I want to watch the other one anyway.
Oh, this just went way off the rails.
Just saying. That's why I say horror.
Anyway, go to the PlayStation Store, download this game. Now it is a PS4 exclusive. Play it. It's great.
Anyway.
And if you're still rocking the PS3.
Tokyo Jungle and Darkstalkers.
I don't know why that makes me
Resurrection.
Darkstalkers sounds familiar. What is that?
Darkstalkers is I think it's a Capcom property, and it's a fighting game, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yes, it's the fighting game with the Darkstalkers Resurrection?
Sure.
Is that what it is?
Darkstalkers Resurrection, yes.
Okay. So it is a fighting game, and it is Capcom, and it's so much fun. See, it's the fighting games like that. It's the old school.
Oh, wait,
comic-y fighting.
Darkstalkers?
Yes,
Oh, I love Darkstalkers.
I'm just gonna play ARMS.
it's so good.
I didn't realize that I didn't know that was a thing.
Wow, I didn't realize there were that many of them.
Oh, that's exciting.
But yeah, that's a fun game. It's a super fun, old school kind of fighting game.
I don't know if that's worth breaking out my PS3 for, but it might.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got mine hooked up.
Definitely not gonna do that.
Yeah, mine's hooked up to my TV upstairs.
The PS Vita is getting Element 4L.
I guess that's what it is, yeah. And Don't Die, Mr. Robot, which I don't know anything about, but thank God that's a PS4 cross-buy because I
Right.
really want to play a game called Don't Die, Mr. Robot.
Don't die, Mr. Robot. Meh.
Well, the point is, Until Dawn is free, so go play it. The rest of these aren't really that good, so I don't really know.
Game of Thrones is supposed to be great.
Yeah.
If you're into the Telltale games, you'll probably enjoy that. But
Yeah. So, and then finally, lastly, on our free game.
Yeah, we already talked
free,
about
cheap,
this.
Cheap for games,
Games
new
Pass games.
Games Pass games. Oh, did you already talk about
Yep,
them?
we're talking about the first. So
I tuned you out.
new. Adam's actively ignoring me for most.
Did
of
you
this.
say something?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whatever.
What?
Don't Die, Mr. Robot looks adorable.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So there's new Games Pass games. 7 new games coming out. Should be good.
Cool.
We don't have it written down for small bites, but Futurama, the
I saw
game
that.
just came out. I know nothing about it, but Futurama's awesome.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine the game's not also awesome.
I'm imagining it's kind of along the lines of like Family Guy, the journey for free stuff or
Sure.
whatever it was. It's the pay to play kind of thing.
Did we ever talk about Pokemon
It's
Go recently?
free too. Yeah, we talked a little bit about it
Because
couple
they
weeks ago.
just did a big update for that.
With the
so
raids.
people are playing that again. I'm seeing people wandering around getting hit by cars yet again.
I have not played it at all.
So
found
have you
out
been
about-
raiding?
I have not.
Have you
I
been
have literally
battling?
no. So in my Pokemon Go heyday, I'm pretty sure I only got into like maybe 4 gym battles and lost every single one.
But did you or did you not pay money for it?
Well, yeah,
Oh yeah.
And you still lost?
yeah, because all I did was pay for Pokeballs. That's all.
Yeah.
Because I was really terrible at it. I've not
I
paid.
still
I paid
understand.
$20. That was it.
You paid $20 for Pokeballs and Pokemon?
That's it. Kevin
That's
spent
it.
like 60. It's fine.
Did he win a gym battle?
Well, of course he did
Then
because he's Kevin.
I don't care. You lost. You
That's
spent
fine.
$20 and lost 100% of the time. He won, spent 60, so I'm on his
I'm
side.
so glad I can bear my soul to you and not be judged.
Apparently, back to Futurama, apparently it features Final Fantasy style role-playing combat exploration and a smattering of choose-your-own-adventure decisions.
Well, I
Sounds-
guess I'm
sounds
downloading that
interesting and
tonight.
deep. Yeah, I'm excited.
Great. Well, there you go. That's what you can do with your phone now. Is it phone? Is it free?
It's free.
Oh, it's free.
It's a free game?
Yeah, maybe it has. I don't know if it has microtransactions.
Oh, it's
but
right there on the featured page.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
Futurama, Worlds of Tomorrow.
Anyway,
All right, find us on the socials.
What's
Bite Me
the-
Podcast.
what's the-
BYTE Me
What's the
Podcast.
Futurama song?
I don't know.
Do, 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 do.
Go away, Dylan.
Dude, I don't.
I hope you all had a lovely 4th of July. We're about to have one.
Yeah, if that doesn't confuse you, well, you're smarter than we are. Okay, have fun.
Bye.